Hey, so I couldn't fight the sunlight in here, and it's so warm and cozy. And my son came in today while I was working, and I said, "What made you lay down where you are?" And he said, "It's just so sunny." So I was like, "Well, let me stay in that place of joy and warmth today." So earlier in this same series of releasing the good girl and embracing the authentic woman, I quoted this quote by Bell Hooks, and it says that rarely, if ever, are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. So I'm looking to see if I can see the titles. If you ever had a chance to read, Bell Hooks has a trilogy of books that are um, on love, all about love, communion, and I don't want to lie about what the last one is because I can't quite see it, but it's pretty remarkable. And I appreciate this quote because the work of releasing the good girl and embracing the authentic woman is an act of healing. It's an act of surgery. Um, it's an act. Someone can break a bone, and then it has to be broken again to be set properly. So it is breaking. It is falling apart and being put back together and putting yourself together. And so even when I consider that quote, that it's something that cannot be done alone, that it's an act of communion. So it happens with other people. It happens with other people for a number of reasons. It happens with other people because other people have some of the medicine you need. It happens with other people because other people have some of the perspective that you need. Other people have power for you when you don't have it readily available yourself. And then as you heal earnestly, honestly, openly, truthfully, you are giving back. So as you're healing, the healing that is coming to you speaks to others who prayerfully are giving to you out of their own healing, out of their own healed spaces. So the only thing I wanted to share today was to be sure that as you are laying the person who's seeking other people's approval and trying to meet expectations outside of themselves, as you're laying that version to rest, as you are letting that version know it's okay to rest and that I can move forward, and as you are embracing and empowering the authentic self, to make sure that you have good midwives and doulas around you. So, so it is not new, of course, that I talk about birth because the growth that I've experienced through with and continue to experience because of my children, and being able to be their mother is magnanimous. It is connected to everything else in life, um, and allows me to empathize and connect with any other births of any type, not just physical and human beings, but births of other kinds, animals, creation, creativity, newness, rebuilding, all of those things. So, in my experiences giving birth, I was blessed to be able to give birth at home. I was blessed with the support of my husband, a midwife, and a doula, to give birth at home. And then beyond that, community brought food and advice and wisdom. Um, and even before they were born, elders who talked to me about nursing, um, all of those things. So I use this metaphor because even as I moved toward realizing that I couldn't exist without being my authentic self, there were people, men and women, along the way who would say things, positive, uplifting, affirming things to me. Not because I requested, not because they were looking for points, not because they were like, I'm about to sow something to this sister. Sometimes it was just out of the magnificence and beauty of their own healed self. They would say something to me, and I was like, I can do that. That's in me. I can do that. And so, even as healing is not a solitary act, it requires opening up, it requires being vulnerable, it requires trying new ways of operating that may not have been familiar to you before. And in that, what I have found is that for it makes space for others to sit with me while I labor. It makes space for others to bring me nourishment while I labor. It makes space for others to prop me up when the pain and challenge of labor feels like it's too much. It leaves space for those who are on the other side of their own personal births to say to me, they understand what it's like to be in the throes, in the middle, on the way, and to celebrate where they are on the other side, having given birth to themselves in a new way, having given birth to new spaces in their lives, to new opportunities, to new creations. So I also want to say to choose those midwives and doulas carefully. And for anyone who is not aware, because I take it for granted that it is the midwife is with woman, is the person who is taking up the responsibility of catching the baby, of walking the mama through labor and catching the baby. And the doula is the person who also sits with the mother, um, not in the action of catching the baby, but really in holding the mom and holding the mother to help the mother receive what it is that she feels like she needs in birth, in labor, and headed to birth. Um, in my instance, quite literally in the birth of my children, I was very blessed to have a midwife and a doula who were seamless in their interaction with each other. My doula had actually had babies delivered by my midwife, so they knew each other well. So there was nothing that I was ever given in that space of challenge, in that space where quite literally, and this is true in any space of transition, but in that space where quite literally you are bringing life and there's the threat of your own death in that space, I never was not safe. I was never not looked out for. And so I encourage you that as you move forward in these spaces of transition in your life where something is clearly dying, where there is a mourning, where there is pain, where there is loss, same way that a seed loses its coat to break forward. That seed coat is protecting that seed, is protecting all the wonder in that seed, but it has to break to let the seed come forward, to let the amazing plant within it blossom, grow, burst through the soil. It can't do it with the seed coat on. So, as you are welcoming people to assist you in your birthing process of yourself, be selective. Um, be selective. Be welcoming of those that you discern you need and that you can give to as you receive, and receive. After all of that, receive the blessing that they've been lined up for you, that your ancestors have made space, that there's a universal wisdom that allows you to have just what you need, just when you need it. So I encourage you to receive it. So that was the whole point, is don't do it alone. Be discerning and finding and receiving as they're sent to you those who will walk with you and sit with you and help you labor. And then just receive it. Just open yourself up to receiving that which will help you move forward. So again, this is Reverend Okomfo Walimu Yogi Doula, Mama, Sister Adia, saying, I'll see you later. Peace.